Today, the theme of our message is Kingdom People. Kin, K-I-N, dash, D-O-M, people. Kingdom people. And I want to begin with a story. It's kind of a brief story. Everybody knows Elvis Presley, right? Some people try to sing like him. Some people try to look like him, right? Well, 6 days, or 6 weeks rather, before Elvis died, a reporter asked the king of rock and roll, and here's the question. When you first started playing music, you said you wanted to be rich, famous, and happy. Are you happy? At the heart of the lectionary readings for this weekend is a question most people carry whether they ever say it out aloud or not. How do I please God? How do I please God? It is a question that shows up in church, but also in daily life, when we wonder if we are doing enough, if we are faithful enough, or if we are getting it right. At first glance, the gospel pericope for this weekend sound like Jesus is answering that question with a list. Blessed are this group. Blessed is that group. It can sound as if Jesus is naming certain kinds of people, such as people with particular qualities or needs, and saying, these are the ones who get it right. But the gospel is not a checklist. It is not a personality test either. Jesus is not sorting people out into spiritual categories, so to speak. Hear this word today. Since it is about you, just as much as it was about those who gathered around him on the side of the mountain. What Jesus offers here is not a scorecard, but an invitation into life. I call this life kingdom life, K-I-N-D-O-M. Jesus ushers in a new era, what he calls the kingdom of God. Not a kingdom built on power or winning, but a family-shaped reign, a kingdom where belonging comes before behavior. This is the era of the blessed. The word Beatitudes, as you probably know by now, comes from the Latin, and it means blessed. And to be blessed is to be happy. Not the fleeting happiness we chase, but the deep joy that comes from being caught up in the life of Jesus Christ. Those who find themselves in Jesus cannot help but be happy. This happiness does not come from one's own effort. It does not come from possessions. It does not come from achievements, or it does not come from having our lives neatly put together. It comes from a transformed life. Entry into the kingdom of God is by grace alone. And because it is grace, everything begins to turn upside down. We begin to live by what I call reversed values. When the world says, take revenge, we forgive. When the world says to look away from those who do not work or who are homeless because they must be irresponsible, we see them. We care for them in their misfortune. And we do that remembering something important, that all of us, without exception, are needy. All of us. We have a need to be seen. We have a need to be cared for. We have a need to be forgiven. And we have a need to be loved. When the world says to hate those who are different or who do not share our values, we love them. We love them, and we see them as our neighbor. This is what life looks like in the kingdom of God, not because we are better, but because we have been changed. Elvis Presley was a revolutionary singer and actor. He transformed pop music by fusing blues and country and gospel into a new sound in the 1950s. He was charismatic, good-looking, and his massive record sales made him a very, very wealthy guy. Now rich and famous, he replied to the reporter's question. I'm lonely as hell, he said. Clearly, he could not create that happiness for himself. As kingdom people, we keep our eyes on the blessings. And we remember that blessings are not rewards we earn. They are promises we receive. The baptized are kingdom people who serve the neighbor within their daily calling, or as Luther calls it, within our vocation, at work, at home, in community, and in the ordinary places of life. We are blessed to serve. We do not serve in order to be justified. We serve because we already are justified. As Luther said, and I quote, "A person justified by faith does good works freely and willingly." End of quote. Free, not driven by fear, not motivated by guilt, but moved by love. Which brings us to a question we need to keep before us as a congregation, especially as we go into congregational meeting this morning. And here's the question that we should always hold in our hearts, both individually and collectively. What do we want our church to be known for? What do we want our church to be known for? What do I want my church to be known for? What do you want your church to be known for? I hope not a slogan, or not just posted on a website, but in how our neighbors experience us. Especially in this season that is so difficult for so many. May the Spirit keep working on us as kingdom people, shaped by the grace of God, marked by God's mercy, and as living signs of the blessed life Jesus promises. Amen.